Hello, my name is Eric Normand, and I run a company called PurelyFunctional.tv where I teach closure, mostly in video and written form. This is my vlog where I talk about the business and what I'm thinking about and going through and deciding and working on. All the stuff you do in business. So today is Monday. Had a meeting today with my assistant. We meet every week just to figure out what, just to make sure that everything's going well and things are making progress. And this morning I brought up the idea that I do want him to start taking over more responsibility and what that might look like. So the first thing that I brought up was that I very often will say, okay, I want you to do this, and then I'll make a Trello card for you. And so I'm the one who organizes the work. And I think that needs to stop. I need to ask him to organize it himself. And I mentioned in one of the videos that I made for him that he should get a notebook or at least some paper so that he can take notes while I'm talking and write down the stuff that I ask him to do. And so he started doing that at the meeting, which was great because before I think he would rely on me to organize the work for him. Another thing is I'm asking him, a lot of the tasks I do, excuse me, I've got a little runny nose. A lot of the tasks I do, another thing, they are, let's say 75% figuring out how to do something, like reading some documentation or something like that, and 25% doing. And I have erred on the side of me figuring out what he should do exactly, and then making a description of that, probably in video form, and then letting him do the 25%. Thinking that, okay, I can figure it out quickly, give him the task, and then the next time he'll know exactly how to do it. So I am gaining, but now I'm pushing more toward having him do that 75% of figuring out the thing. So I did that recently with him figuring out how to publish a podcast, and he gave some recommendations. And I had also, I couldn't help doing it myself a little bit. So when he had recommended something that I also saw was good, I just jumped on it, and I did it. You see, because it needed me to put in my credit card information, and I don't let him use the credit card, so I put in my credit card information, and I signed up, and I wanted to get started too, to make sure it was working. But he did a lot of that research, so I am happy with this. It relieves a lot from me, and the only thing I'm concerned about is I still don't trust that when I just mention something that he needs to do, that it will be done. So I still feel like I need a list myself of the stuff that he should be working on, and I will have that list until I trust him to just do it. I will have that list so I can ask him about it later. But it's not going to be in Trello, and it's going to be an informal list for my use only. So I guess that means if I do trust him on something, I will forget about it and let it out of my head. Otherwise, it'll be in my paper, and I'll keep hounding him about it like a good manager. So I've asked him to do the next course sale, which is a small one, small course. It's not like an 8-hour course for sure. And we're going to do a simplified one for his first one. And it's just going to be, the course is done, you can buy it now. It's not going to be a pre-sale and a post-sale. It'll just be the done one. But here's the thing about it is he is going to ask me for the stuff that he needs to run the sale. So I'm not going to organize it, do all of my work, and then ask him to do the little glue between, because that's still a lot of work for me to do all the glue. He's got to do, not do all, I wouldn't do the glue, but I would organize the glue and figure out what the glue needed to be. He's got to do the whole thing, except he is allowed to say, hey, can you write me this email? Can you write me that email? Or even smaller, maybe, like, can you write me this paragraph, right? And so that is going to be an interesting experience because I mess up sales. There's a lot of stuff that can happen with sales, like there's the buttons. Do the buy buttons work? Did you set the price right? Did you forget to turn it off at the end of the sale? Did the emails go out at the right time? All that stuff is, to me, is it's error prone. But we'll see how he does on it. And I've told him this, that I mess them up very often. So he might do better than me. Who knows? Okay, so Clojure Sync. The videos are all edited and rendered. I'm meeting tomorrow with someone about the video hosting. I decided to go with a small startup company that is a friend, and it's also a Clojure based company, and so I'm excited to see where this goes. It's probably not the safest bet, but since video is such an important part of my business, I think having a close relationship with the video host and making it it's also a low cost solution. I think that this is going to be it's gonna be a fruitful experiment. Let me put it that way. I can't say for sure that it's gonna work out, but I will know a lot more about my needs as in terms of video, and whether I should just go with one of the big players that has all the features already. Right. So in terms of reliability, there's that question there. In terms, delivery reliability, there's some features that are missing, but they're just starting up, so they're going to have to solve those. I mean, those are kind of those are just the starting. What do you call that? It's the ante to play. Like, they need to have these features, so they're going to put them in eventually. But then having a close relationship with them means that if I need help on the API or something like that, I'll be able to get it. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, I'm still using Wistia for my courses, and I do want to move off of them. So after this test with the Clojure Sync videos, it'll be good. I've made some moves to move off of Drip. The marketing for Drip has, I guess, it seems to like exclude me now. I don't seem to be their target market, and just the way they're talking about what people should do with email has made me a little scared that it's not. So they were acquired by a bigger company, and I just don't see that they're working on the features that I care about, and they're moving in directions like they're dropping features that were what made me sign up in the first place. So I mean, it's working fine. It's not like I need to jump ship like some people are. But email is a really important part of my business. People, I have the newsletter, but also most of my sales come from email. So I need to have a good, reliable email system that I'm comfortable with. So I'm thinking about moving to ConvertKit. It is a little bit closer to what I do. So ConvertKit is for professional bloggers who want to make products. That's closer to what I'm doing. I don't really consider myself a professional blogger anymore, or ever. I blog. I'm a blogger, but and I do make products, but I wouldn't call myself a professional blogger. Whereas Drip is much more oriented toward the SaaS market, and I'm definitely not a SaaS. So that's that. But of course, that's not an urgent thing. So I'm not gonna. I mean, it's important in the long term, but not important in the short term. They haven't made any drastic changes that have required me to stop using them. But I think that ConvertKit has some features that would make my life easier too. So it's a complex thing. It's not urgent. It's not even that important right now because it's like more of a long-term thing. But there it is. Okay, Closure Sync. Also, I moved the site to WP Engine, and I need to do the theme. I have to do my taxes today. I have to. I just didn't get to them last week. I thought I would, but my accountant is asking for a bunch of little things, so I need to get those done. Right. So this morning when I was journaling, I had this idea that there's Marie Kondo. She's very popular right now, and she does a kind of a tidying up system where instead of a system that tries to say like only keep what you need, or have some like minimal aesthetic, what she does is says keep what gives you joy. Okay, so I've been thinking I like that idea that we do need to be in touch with our emotions and what brings us joy in life, and maximize that, especially since we're getting all sorts of consumer messages about getting more stuff that we probably don't need. How do you decide first what to keep from what you've already purchased, and the second what to buy, given that most of it is it's not going to make your life any better. So I've been thinking about that in terms of business, because I feel that my business is a little bit too much for me right now. There are too many moving parts. I'm constantly thinking about what I can eliminate. Is there something that I'm missing that is, would make me have an easier time managing it all as a single person, right? Now I've talked about this before, where I've picked this market a small market, the closure market. And if I were doing this much work in any other market, like the JavaScript market or any big market like that, I would be making a lot more money, right? And I think that's true. It's also true that I don't know what I would teach in the JavaScript world, right? Because if I just taught functional programming, it might be just as small as the closure world, you know. And I might not be happy teaching JavaScript, like, the newest framework or whatever is popular there. So there's that issue. But here I am in the closure market. So that's where I'm gonna stay here for a while. But what would bring me joy? And I'm into lean, the Toyota production system, which has this idea of continuous improvement. The idea is that if you can improve your process, and there's specific things, qualities that you're improving on in the Toyota production system, over time, just a little bit each time, over time, the whole system will become more efficient, and there would be less waste, less toil, fewer safety concerns. And my idea is that I want to apply a similar continuous improvement idea, but to include joy in that improvement, in the qualities that I improve. So yes, speed, yes, cost, but also joy. Am I increasing joy with any improvement? And I think that that's an important aspect to focus on as a single entrepreneur working on this. Joy, because we're in this for the long term, and it's a huge part of my life. And why not improve joy over time? So it's not just, that's one of my issues with Marie Kondo is I don't have a lot of stuff in general. I'm very frugal. And so I relate to what she says, and then I try to apply it, and I'm like, I don't have enough stuff to do this on. And then I go through her book, and all the examples are people who have their apartments are overrun with stuff, and they have no walking room and stuff. And so, yeah, sure, that person can probably find that the person who buys too much can probably find a subset of stuff that is what brings her joy. But in my case, I find that I haven't bought the thing that ever brought me joy. And that's what I'm trying to learn, is to consume a little bit better, more, really just more. Because it's very hard for me to buy stuff. I don't like the process of, it feels like wasting money on stuff that I don't really need. And then, regretting buying something because, I feel duped. I felt like it seemed like it was going to make my life better, and I believed the salesperson and all this, and then I just feel like crap for having bought into what they were selling. So I'm doing my best to consume a little bit more consciously, and actually figuring out a process for consumption that makes me feel good. So I just bought a car. It's a few weeks ago now. And I did a lot of research. I've never done so much research for a product before. And I'm also proud of myself that I didn't defer any of my own desires or compromise on them. And I just kept looking for the one that would satisfy all of my desires, and then negotiated it with my wife. I say negotiated, it wasn't like we were trading. It was just I made sure that my desires were satisfied by the purchase. That I'm gonna, she doesn't make money right now, so it's all my money, that it's all my work going into buying this car, and I wanted to be satisfied with it. I'm very proud of myself for doing that. I know it sounds silly, but that's the kind of thing I've never done before. I've always been like, I want the crappiest car because I don't want to spend a lot of money, and I would rather have one that's already kind of messed up, so that I won't feel bad about, stepping on the seat or spilling something on it, but then in the end, I was never proud of paying for it, right? Of having invested in it. And I probably still paid too much, right? So like, it just didn't, that approach of buying junk because then the regret is more that, well, I just have junk, and I knew it was junk, as opposed to I did the work and I figured out the right car to buy. Anyway, I'm proud of myself for that. That's all I want to bring up. So I've been thinking about that and how to apply that to my business, making sure that joy is there, and having a space for the kind of exploration and education and stuff that I'm into. Well, yeah, I've gone on long enough. This is 23 minutes. My name is Eric Normand. Please mash those buttons and give the signal to the AI. The AI has no emotions. It requires thousands of signals of your emotions to learn what needs to happen, to learn what is good, so it can recommend to other people. So please mash those thumbs up, subscribe, comment. All those signals feed the AI's need for emotion that it can't provide itself, that only humans can provide. Do it. Click. All right, see you later.